Oh my gosh, you guys, what's up? It has been probably over a month since we've uploaded a podcast, and I love you guys because I know you get it. I know you get it. The month of May, I had told myself I was going to just take a break, take a step back because there's so much going on in the month of May. If you are a student, if you are a parent, if you are just a human being, why does May seem so crazy? Because even if you don't have kids in May, you're probably getting invited to all of your family's things, graduations and recitals and presentations and school performances and sports and the ending of sports and all the things. And if you are a parent, then you 100% are running to all of those things, which I love. I love May. It almost feels like Christmas because it's just like the celebration on the year of like what your kids have accomplished and what they've gone through. And it's just like such a great time to sit back and reflect and just like sit back and look at like what your kids have done. And I love it. I love May. So I knew that podcasting in May was going to be really, really tricky because I had so much going on. This year, I decided to teach a class at Lenny's studio, my daughter's studio where she dances, and it was a hip hop class. And so that was so fun. But if you have a dancer, it's busy enough towards recital time as it is. But also being a teacher during recital time is crazy because you have dress rehearsals, you have extra practices, you have like the actual recital, and then you have, if you have daughters dancing, I had two daughters dancing this year. It's just a lot. So me and Joey got to do my middle daughter, we got to do a mommy and me dance performance, which was so fun. And it's so funny. She's such a Scorpio like personality because she like loves attention. She loves when people like pay attention to her and give her attention. But if there's too many people or too much attention, she like closes down and gets feisty. So, Scorpios, I need advice on how to best lead her as a mother because come day of recital, I was like so excited for her. She was so excited to be in her pretty dress and tights and makeup and loved getting the attention from all of us being like, "Oh my gosh, Joey, you look so cute in your dance costume," and, being on the stage. But then come day of recital, so much attention was given to her that she like shut down and she just like seemed like she wasn't, I don't know, it was just so funny to like, she loved dress rehearsal. She loved, all the preparation, but then the day of, she just like had kind of a mean face on stage and we were all dying because that's just so much is our Joey. So, anyways, we had tons of dance stuff in May. And then Elliot, my son, my second oldest son, he made a travel baseball team and their season really picked up. They started tournaments and games and he's pitching. And so I was going back and forth to that. And then my oldest son, Cooper, was ending his high school junior year of baseball. So we had that. And May was just honestly, my husband and I at the end of the day would just like flop down on the couch and be like, we made it. Like it was such a good filled days, but there was just so much going on. And I just had to put the podcast on the back burner just because that's like the mom life. And then June snuck up so quickly. I had my birthday. You guys feel free to wish me happy birthday. I turned 38. I know I look like barely over a day over 24. It's so weird. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I cut my hair. You guys, I went from 24-inch extensions to straight, like chopped my hair above my shoulders. And I honestly am loving it. I'm loving it so much. And we could talk about that later. But I just decided that like hair sometimes can give us such identity as women. And I don't know, I think guys feel this way too. Correct me, let me know. If I'm only speaking to women because I do feel like guys probably feel this way, but for so long, my whole life, I've always just wanted dreamy mermaids, long, thick, luscious locks. Like who doesn't? And you see a woman walk by who has like really long, beautiful, thick hair. And I just have always like wanted, coveted, envied that. But I have really baby fine hair. And so I just never got that look. And as much hair health as I've done, I just have never been able to grow long, thick, luscious hair. So I would always get extensions. And, it's kind of like the beauty of extensions. You can have what you don't have, but they're really expensive. They're really time consuming. And for a busy mom, like it just was really just not realistic to uphold. So that's why I kind of go through these like seasons of hair extensions, no hair extensions. But I finally was like this fear of like thinking that I'm like beautiful or that like I look good of having long, thick, luscious hair like, was this attachment that I needed to, like, emotionally just, like, step away from and be like, "Carly, it's just hair. You are still beautiful, whether you shave your head or you have long, thick extensions or you have this short little bob." And it was just for me, it was kind of just like this inner challenge work of like, it's just hair. You can cut it. It's not a big deal. It's not that deep. And honestly, I just like this whole new personality came out once I chopped my hair. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. I feel free to have your hair off of your neck with getting kids in and out of car seats and hot summer days. Like, sign me up. It just feels so freaking good. And it takes me literally less than 10 minutes to do my hair, even when it's wet out of the shower. And that to me is hashtag goals. So yeah, I chopped my hair. And if you are like being trapped by your hair or just by something in your daily like routine, whether it's like you feel like you have to wear makeup because you feel prettier or you have to have long hair or whatever it is, just know that your worth doesn't change by that thing that's holding you back, okay? And that you're hot, sexy, no matter what, and you don't have to have long hair or makeup or an outfit or a job title or whatever it is. You've got to unleash that inner like, I am this without that on the inside, okay? That's your TED Talk for the day. So, we're back. I've caught you guys up. May was insane. Dance rehearsals, baseball games, baseball tournaments, ending school, kindergarten graduation. My daughter graduated from kindergarten, and honestly, on the day I thought I would be so emotional, and I wasn't. I'm getting emotional now. But I just love her, and I'm so proud of her, and her and I, out of all my kids, definitely, like, I think we butt heads the most, and I think it's because she's so similar to me, and so I'm trying so hard to step back and be like, "Carly, remember when you were feeling that way when you were in her shoes? Like, what did you need?" And I'm trying to show up that way for her as a mother, but it's hard because we are so close and we have these like very best friend moments where we're laughing and teasing. And then we have these moments where I'm like, you can't do that because I'm your mom and I should lead you better. So I don't know. It's just been so, she's just been a dream come true. Honestly, like ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted a daughter. And she was everything that I envisioned that I would want as a daughter. And I got her. And now she's here and she's graduating kindergarten. And it's just been so fun as a mom. And then to think that I got two more daughters on top of that daughter I always dreamed of, and just the different ways and they pull me and test me and make me feel fulfilled is, it's just everything I wanted. I just sometimes I still have like a pinch me moment that like I get to have the life that I have. Um because it's crazy. I have 5 kids. I have 2 sons and 3 daughters and 2 dogs and a husband and this house that we're like living in, we literally manifested. One day we can talk about that. But I just, catching you guys up on what was going on in May. I've gone through so many different sidetracks. I want to hear from you guys. Like, what was so great in your May? Like, what was something, I know May is always just, there's always so much going on. I want to hear from you. Like, what happened in your month of May that you want to celebrate? Leave it in the comments below. If you're listening to this on Spotify, head over to my Instagram. It's at Feel Good with Carly. If you're watching this on YouTube, put it down in the comments. And if you are listening on either Apple or Spotify, you can just give me a 5-star review and a beautiful rating, and a beautiful like review. And then you can head over to my Instagram and tell me all the things that were wonderful for you in the month of May. So today's episode, there was a couple things I wanted to talk about. I think we're going to lean into parenthood. We're going to talk about being a parent. And if you don't have kids, don't think that this episode won't pertain to you, because maybe you can give me some feedback as like, being in the sea of how you were raised, and some advice you could give me. And then next week, I want to talk about marriage and choosing marriage over divorce and things that I have grown to know in marriage and grown to see differently compared to my first marriage, and just emotionally how I'm choosing to show up in sickness and in health, and what that really means in marriage. So we're going to be talking about that next week. But this week, we're going to talk about being a parent, and just holy crap, it's so freaking hard. I don't know why, but lately I feel like my kids are just there's something brewing in my house, and I don't know if my family needs more like connection time, we need less internet or less screen time, if we need more just like moments in the day where we just come together as a family and it's more family oriented, more quiet. I don't know if this is in my head or not, but we haven't been going to church just because we've been traveling and so much has been going on. So I don't know if we're just missing some of that, but there is something happening in my house right now and it's ultra frustrating. I feel like Jackson and I are lecturing the kids every single day, and it's frustrating because I'm like, we have good kids. We have good kids. And I just hate feeling like I'm always harping at them and they're not getting an opportunity to have like conversation. You know, when you just feel like you're talking at your kids and they're just looking at you like with this blank stare, like, okay, okay, mom, okay. But you're like scared that like not really absorbing it or getting it. Like, are they really getting the lessons you're trying to teach them? And I don't know. I'm like, what are we doing wrong as parents? Like, I want my kids to feel connected to one another. I want them to be, I don't expect them to be best friends, but I definitely want them to show up for each other. And I want them to like rally each other on and be each other's like hype friend. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like they act so competitive with each other. Like, well, I got to do this and you have to do that. And I hate it. And then, like, just the way that they deliver conversation to each other sometimes, I'm like, you guys talk nicely to each other. Like, you can talk nicely to each other. And so I don't know. I am just feeling like we're missing something and something is brewing in my house where I'm like, I really need some advice on like how I can better just have more peace in my home. Like there's not screaming, yelling, bloodbath fights, but I just feel like something is missing. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you're a parent, maybe you know. And if there is something that you feel like your parents did for you in your home that just really brought you guys closer together in unity, please let me know because honestly, like I just right now, I'm just an open book and I could use all the advice, all these suggestions. And yeah, I would just love to hear from you guys. I know that there's a million things we could change. We do really try to do less screen time. Like one thing I implemented this summer was I'm not going to lose myself and my kids to just like doing whatever they want in summer. Like I am a Gemini and I'm a very free spirit and I love not having a schedule. But I notice that my kids act so different when we are on a schedule for school than when we're not. And I don't want them to have free reign on iPad or on I can't even remember. What does he have? Oh, a PS5. PS5. My son has a PS5 and an iPad. We have a computer in our kitchen area where my daughter can get on and watch YouTube. And I was like, I just don't want you guys to have free reign on screen time. I just don't. So they do have like a little morning schedule where they get up, they get dressed, they tidy up their room, they have to eat breakfast. And then I bought my daughter a workbook, and then my son has to read for 20 minutes, which is not asking a lot. I also think it's good to keep their brains like sharp, but throughout the summer rather than just like going full on school and then taking a break. So I have tried to implement like a morning schedule with my kids. And I'm like, hey, if you do this well, then you literally get the rest of the day to play, treats, whatever, not whatever, but you know what I was saying? Like, feel like summer. I also think that's important for kids. So we do have somewhat of like this like soft morning schedule that I try to have them stick to and adhere to. But I don't know, there's just something missing in our family right now. And I'm like, maybe it's more family time. Maybe we need to have like family prayers together more often, or it's just moments where they feel like they can talk with me. I don't know, but something is brewing and I'm just feeling so deflated as a mom, as in like I just feel like all day long I'm putting out fires. Like, talk nice, stop yelling, you can share, don't sing it like that. And I don't know if that really is just motherhood and I know I don't expect every day to be like rainbows and sunshine and perfection and like they never fight because I also think like that's psycho. And if a family acted like that, I'd be like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a little yelling and fighting is good, but lately it's just been extra. So, anyways, if you guys have advice for me on that, I'd love to hear from you on parenting and just know that doing your best is sometimes just like all you can give for the day. Cause sometimes I'm like, I did my best today. It wasn't like probably everything they needed, but I did feel like I tried and I showed up. And we're never just going to get it 100% right. And that's like the hardest thing with being a parent is just like knowing that you're never going to get it absolutely right. But I think as long as you're willing to be honest with your kids and vulnerable and just say, hey, like, I know I'm messing up, but I just hope you know I'm trying. I really am trying and I love you and I want to do my best by you. And like, we're in this together, you know? Also, a little like pop culture. I'm obsessed with Georgia and Jenny. I freaking just love Georgia, and I see so much of myself in her, other than the fact that I haven't murdered anyone. Would I murder for the same reasons she did? Why does the show make you feel justified taking a bad man's life? But I just like find myself being like, I don't know. I love that show. Have you guys watched it? I won't spoil anything, but I just got through season 3 last night and this season was the best season. And I feel like it's hard when you're watching shows to like love each season more. Sometimes I feel like they get really cheesy or like they lose characters or they write one of your favorite characters out of the season or whatever. But season 3 was the best. Like it got even better with every season. And I just freaking love Georgia. I want to be exactly like her. I think she's stunning. She has like this Julia Roberts essence of the when she laughs or smiles, it's like so captivating. And I just love her as a mother and how she's just like willing to do anything for her kids. But part of me is like really worried about her kids and how her actions affect them. And that's like the number one thing that like plays through my brain every night before I go to bed is like, what are the worst things my kids are getting from me? And how long is this gonna affect them? So if you've seen that, if you've been watching that, please let me know like your thoughts on the whole season. And if you're not watching it, you should. It's so good. I literally cried. I laughed. I was mad. I was turned on. Like all the emotions come with that show. And I love it so much. So if you've been watching George and Jenny, please let me know. And if you haven't watched it, start watching it now and then report back. A while ago, I put up a question box on Instagram for you guys to give me suggestions on things you want to talk about. And so let's pull from the cup and I want to hear from you guys. So the first one is, how soon is it too soon to talk about body hair with kids? Okay, I think that you don't have to make it a big deal. It's like it is or it's not. Like the wall is painted white or it's painted red. That's all. Nothing different, like it's just how it is. Like, oh yeah, mom has hair in her armpit. Mom has hair in her legs. Mom doesn't have hair on her legs. Yeah, mom has hair in her tummy. Mom doesn't have hair on her tummy. Like I don't think it has to be this big drastic thing. It's just like an opportunity to be like, yeah, we're all different. We're all made different. It's not one way or the other. It's just how it is. Like, oh, that man walks. That man's in a wheelchair. There's no difference. Oh, she has purple hair. She has a shaved head. That's just how it is. And it's just like educating your kids on our bodies and the purpose of it. Because really, hair grows on our bodies in certain areas to protect us and to serve us in a certain way. And we all get to have choice in how we want our bodies to look and show up. And so I would lean into the kids are really telling with when they're curious about something, like they will almost start asking questions or they will like maybe poke around the idea wanting more information. And so I would just lean into like, what evidence have your kids had like shown you to show that they're curious or interested in like understanding more about that. But when you do arrive at a time, like I don't think there's like one specific age number where you start talking about like the talk or, things like that. It just kind of, I think every kid is different in their maturity, their emotional understanding, and you have to really just pick up on that. And then I wouldn't make it a big deal. I wouldn't make it like, a big thing. It's just, yeah, some people do and some people don't. Move on. So it's just not like a huge thing. Okay, next one, minimalist or hoarder doesn't show your personality. Oh my gosh. I love this because I do feel like we are so inundated with just like the consumption of things, and I am 100% guilty. I'm always finding myself like needing and thinking that I need more or wanting to get something or, even like this, like lately I've just been feeling overwhelmed with just organizing my home. And I saw this quote the other day. It's like, if you're feeling like overwhelmed with your home and how things are with like your daily flow, it's because you're managing too much stuff. And I'm like, that's me 100%. I'm managing too much stuff. Like, and even like the thought of like, okay, well, I'm going to deep clean and organize and take things out of this room. My mind's like, okay, you need to go buy bins and you need to go to buy organizers and you need to go buy cleaning stuff. And it's like, no, we don't need more stuff to manage. We just need to like decompress and declutter. And if you're feeling super overwhelmed and you're feeling like agitated with your living situation and your daily flow and how things are, it's probably because you have too much stuff you're managing. And honestly, like whenever we go up, here's talking about like if I'm a minimalist or a hoarder, um, whenever we go up to like my parents' cabin out in the woods or like whenever we've gone to Hawaii, I really find peace in the way that we're living our life in those areas. And it's Hawaii, so that probably sounds really dumb. But what I've noticed is just like the way that people live on the island, it seems very minimalist, but they seem so happy. And I think this idea of like the attribution of more things in our life make us happier is the disconnect because I don't think things make us happier. Maybe there are things that make our life more simple or easy, or, once in a while we do get something that, makes us happy. But really, at the end of the day, it's not things that make us happy. And I do think, like, to specifically touch on this question, like, does it show your personality? There's an actual show about hoarders who, unfortunately, are people who have gone through traumatic events that trigger something in their brain to collect or hold on to something because usually it's from an effect of a loss. And so they feel control and keeping or holding on to something when they've experienced a deep loss or, some injury or something that has happened to them that has affected them. It is a form of control and protection and safety and recognition and just feeling safe. And so hoarders exist for a reason. I'm not saying every hoarder has gone through something, but I do think 9 times out of 10, the case is if you are a hoarder, there is something that maybe your like underlying issue you're dealing with that you need to work through. I've been really interested in EDMR therapy. I had a really good conversation with my girlfriend when we were in Costa Rica. I also forgot to mention that. We'll recap that on the next show. But I was in Costa Rica in June, and her and I had a really good conversation. And we were talking about marriage, and that's why I want to talk next week about marriage and choosing to not stay in my marriage. Like, I don't want you guys to get freaked out, but there is a conversation we will have about that. Um, but she was talking about how her and her spouse had gone through EDMR therapy and it changed them. So if any of you experienced that, I would love to hear from you. So anyways, back to personalities and if you're a minimalist or hoarder, I think that there is a big connection there with your inner, like just where you're at and health wise. And yeah, so I would like to be more of a minimalist. I need to be better about that. And I need to remember that things don't make me happy. And I need to stop shopping. Okay, Jackson, did you submit that? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Next one. Okay, there's a couple things I want to answer. I'm kind of cheating. I'm looking at this was a good one. I was looking at some of the responses and I'm like, that could fit into better shows. Okay, so this one says more kids question mark. Honestly, like I for once feel done. I feel like our family is complete. I didn't feel that way after Lenny. I didn't feel that way after we surprise got we were okay, so here's the order if you're new to the show or if you're new in general. I have 5 kids. My oldest is Cooper. I had him in a previous marriage, and then I got married to like 10-ish years later to my now husband, Jackson. Have you guys seen the trend on Instagram where you like are talking with your husband and then you're like, my current husband? Like that works for some of us. I did do it to Jackson and he looked at me. He's like, current husband. So anyways, that's funny. Side note. But anyways, and then we have 4 kids together. We have Elliot, who is 8, Lenny, who is 6, Joey, who is 2, and then my baby is 16 months. Her name is Max. And after Elliot and Lenny, birth, so that was 3 kids for me, I kind of just we felt like life was great. Like, it was, like, one-on-one. Cooper was old enough where it was just easy. He's just easy, chill. But we kind of felt like, gosh, life is just really great right now. It's not hard. It's not overwhelming. Like, there were moments, but we just felt like we were still in control. But we were like, "Are we done? Like, could we have one more?" And so we weren't like, "Yeah, we're for sure done." But there was just this, like, piece of me that was like, Am I really done having babies? Could I really be done?" And then we got pregnant with Joey. So it wasn't like we weren't trying. It wasn't like we were preventing, like, whatever that means. But, so then we got pregnant with Joey. But then 8 months later, we definitely got a surprise pregnancy with my baby, Max. And it was obviously the best surprise. And now that we have 5 kids and they're all here, and she's, 16 months, I finally feel like, yes, like I can close that chapter and know that I'm never going to have another baby. And that part makes me sad. That part makes me grieve because I do think that it is so magical and special to be pregnant and to bring life to this world. Like, I would have 100 newborns. I don't love being pregnant. It's really, really, really hard for me. I get really depressed and like low energy and just feel like I'm on the verge of throwing up the entire pregnancy, but I never throw up, which also sucks. So pregnancy is just hard. And the older you get, it's hard to be pregnant. But the thought of never having a newborn again that's the only part of me that's like, oh, that's hard. But I'm finally at a place in my life where I'm like, I want to do it again. I could do it again. I'm like, no, we're definitely at a place in our life where we're not in control anymore. We have no control. And some days are just like make it to your pillow kind of days. That's a saying we have in our family where it's like, if you're having a really hard day, the whole goal is just to make it to your bed, to your pillow that night and get through that day. And sometimes it's like there's more of those days than the good days right now. And it's just because we have so many moving parts. But no, we have closed that chapter. No more kids. I think maybe one day I would like to look into the idea of fostering or adoption. But me physically having more children, that chapter is closed. And I feel good about that. I feel good about saying that. And I'm grateful that God has allowed me to carry the babies I've carried and to have the family I have. But yeah, for us, we feel complete. We are a party of 7 and we're good with that. So moving on. That was a good one, you guys. That was a good one, and it is asked a lot. Okay, maybe some good news stories and a scary world and secret lives of Mormon wives. Oh my gosh, have you guys watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives on Hulu? It's so crazy because when the show idea, like trailer or whatever was first announced, I was like, what? What is this? Like, obviously it was like intriguing to me because I am Mormon, but the trailer, I felt like there were some really disrespectful, the way they edited the trailer parts because they talked about like swinging and marriage and then being Mormon. And then they showed this like clip of all the girls in the show outside of the temple holding hands. Like, it was giving cults. It was giving, I don't know, it was just giving these vibes and feelings that I don't personally experience as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or a Mormon. And so I just knew like what the show was going to bring to people who don't know about being Mormon, and how they're going to assume and like lump us all into the same experiences and just this idea like Mormons are swingers. And I didn't like that, but obviously I was intrigued because it's like a reality show about girls who live in Utah. I live in Idaho, who are Mormon. And so it feels really close to home. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I watched all seasons and I'm fully invested. And I have a lot of opinions about all the girls. And maybe one episode we'll just do like a pop culture like discussion on like what I think of like the Mormon wives girlies. Um, I do feel like a lot of their experiences are definitely things that happen inside of like the Mormon culture. No, let's just get this clear. We are not swingers. No one is asking that of us. I do think that Hulu is brilliant. Anytime you dive into like a deep rooted culture of like religion or I don't know, just organizations or clubs or, whatever, people just get really invested. It's really like, it's hard not to be like curious. So I think Hulu did this genius show idea, brilliant. And I think that the girls that they cast are just at that right age where they're going through these times in their lives or they're trying to figure things out. And so there's a lot of drama, like, and people just by nature are curious and we're nosy and we like seeing drama and fighting and all these things unfold before our eyes. But I worry about the detriment to the long-term health of these girls and what it can bring to them. And like, I just hope that they're keeping their mental clarity in check over a paycheck, and I just worry about them. But we can talk about it on another episode if that's something you guys would be interested in. But Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, oh my gosh, these young girls, their drama, the Hulu is capitalizing on it. They're editing in a way that's going to keep us on the edge of our seats. And I think they've done a great job with the show in the sense of like they're giving the people what the people want to see. So there's that. But I missed you guys. I'm grateful that we have this safe place to really just like feel just like kind of like let it all out, right? To feel better about our lives. I think that's why I did the name change, is because when you guys listen to this podcast, when you come to my content, when you are a part of, my content journey, I just want you to feel better about your lives in the sense that you feel more seen and you feel more like you have someone to relate to. It's really easy, I think, in the sea of content creators and podcasts and things we see on the internet to feel like we can't relate or we can't fit in or we don't get it. But like, this is a place where you can feel better about who you are because I get it and I see you and you're not alone. And I hope that I can create a relatable, safe space for you just to feel better about your life and we can come to conclusions and answers together. And it's just like a place where you get to take a deep breath, like, okay, so I'm not alone in the struggle of being a mom and trying to make my kids get along or whatever it is. So I love you guys. We'll see you next week where we're going to talk about some deep issues on marriage and choosing to stay and show up in your marriage through sickness and in health. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.